We welcome our viewers to ANN7 TNA Conversations, a unique interface between the government and stakeholders. This show aims to bring the who's who in power structures face to face with the people they are accountable to. The inaugural episode of the series coincides with the kickoff of a 3-day-long service delivery expo hosted by the Free State government. This expo provides a platform for government and the people of the Free State to take stock of what the administration has achieved since the year 2009. It will also provide an opportunity to analyze the challenges that lie ahead. 8 years ago, the provincial government, led by Premier Ace Magashule, had launched Operation Hlasela, aimed at fast-tracking service delivery. TNA Conversations are brought to you in partnership with ANN7. We get you the proceedings from Bloemfontein, where Premier Ace Magashule and his exco are providing account of the work that they have done. Well, joining us live from Bloemfontein now is ANN7 reporter Kelden Ongmu. Good morning to you, Kelden. Thank you so much for joining us. Any updates on the expo floor from the different HODs this morning?
Well, KO, this whole service delivery expo is in full bloom in Bloemfontein since morning. HODs and MECs of various departments are already here in various stalls, very impressive stalls, and everybody is as keen to talk about what is the theme and how far the progress of each department as far as service delivery in Bloemfontein is concerned, as far as Free State is concerned, as a province as a whole. But you heard before the break Premier of Free State Ace Magashule saying one thing that he's very proud of is the service delivery, the betterment of service delivery, the improvement that Free State has made every year. He also spoke about that. One of the things that he's very proud of is how Free State has stopped amongst many other provinces as reducing crime is concerned. Therefore, you can see me standing here outside Department of Police stall. I have the HOD with me, acting HOD with me, I beg your pardon, just to tell us, thank you so much for speaking to us. Inside, Premier just told us one thing he's very proud of is the crime reduction in Free State. He says Free State tops that. What different did you do from other provinces? Can you just tell us that?
Thank you very much. I think in terms of the crime prevention strategy that was done and approved by the EXCO, led by the Honorable Premier of the Free State, Dr. Ace Magashule, in partnership with the South African Police Services and other stakeholders, we had to be able to ensure that an integrated planning towards all other challenges that we are facing as the province, in the main with regards to issues of crime, issues of human trafficking, issues of drug and abuse, which were discussed on the table, and we had to come up with measures to mitigate that. One of the issues that we had to look into is to ensure that we get into the ground, into the communities, and ensure that we implement what we call police community forum and other relevant structures to also come up with those issues, so that once we come up with programs that are going to address those issues, are informed and are able to be mitigated completely.
Thank you so much for speaking to us, but we'll get back to various other departments also. As KO, I mentioned, there are several HODs and MECs from various departments keen to talk to us throughout the day. We will be bringing you more knowledge for people of South Africa as well as people of this province. Back to you right now.
So much. That's our reporter Kelden Ongmu live from Bloemfontein at the expo, where the Free State province is showcasing all of the different achievements that they've accomplished since 2009 to the current year 2017. We will cross over now to my colleague Cindy Mabe, who is in Bloemfontein, with an esteemed panel of guests discussing the different achievements of the province.
Welcome back, and thank you so much for staying with Africa News Network First Fast Live. We're coming to you from the capital of the Free State province as part of the Service Delivery Expo that is brought to us by the Premier, His Excellency Ace Magashule. Earlier on, we were talking about the achievements of various departments, looking at police, transport, roads, sport, small business, the environment, and now we focus more on the international bursary scheme as part of Operation Hlasela that the province has offered many young people incredible opportunities that they otherwise would not have access to. And we're joined again by the Premier, Mr. Ace Magashule, and I'd like to also welcome MEC for Education, Tate Mahwe, and we have Simthembile Sokinga, a top achiever in Turkey, best out of 177 students. And we also have Umguni Zondo, we had him earlier on. We had Andre Kronier, Andre, and he's best veterinarian top student in Russia, out of all places, Nokhale. Daniel Mbongo is studying water reticulation and mining remediation, top 3 student, or top out of 3 students in Germany. Mohamed Kibiti is top medical student in Cuba. We're really in the midst and presence of greatness. Thank you so much for joining us. If you will, Mr. Premier, in the sense of the international bursary scheme and those that you are funding locally, I'm told that your budget exceeds that of NFSAS. How did you manage to focus particularly and achieve this feat?
We are a small province. We have decided to invest in education. All universities in South Africa, because they can't accommodate our students, our pass rate is excellent in terms of metric, quality education, and that's why we embark also on international bursary scheme. We focus on BRICS. In January, we'll send more students, 128, as well as ordinary panel beaters, mechanics, to Brazil. We have students in China who did IT. We have students in China in various fields of study. We have students in Turkey, students in Russia, students in Bulgaria, in Belarus, students in Nigeria, students in Rwanda. They will be going. We have students all over the world, Cuba. So it's wonderful. Russia. Yeah,
but the end goal would be that the students will then bring back that knowledge base to impart or give back to the community. So, MEC, in your view, what are some of the milestones in terms of education that the province has achieved?
Well, I'm sure the first panel that was discussing here started delving into education, and they've actually demonstrated the successes in education. But I think the very fact that these students were accepted at those international universities shows you the quality of education that we are producing in the province of the Free State. There's too many people in South Africa who are very negative about education. And every time I engage them, I say to them, these young students, like for example, Mr. Mbongo, he's studying masters in sustainable mining at Freiburg University in Germany, the only university that owns a mine. The university owns a mine itself, and they've been accepted. And the Germans were skeptical when we went to negotiate, to say, we've got quality students, and the Germans were saying, but Africa, because people read about Africa and all the negative things that we all say about ourselves. But the very fact that now he's completing shows that we are actually extremely competitive. I mean, I was engaging Mr. Kronier from Russia. You know, when you look at the PELS report now, the recent report that has been released, it shows that in terms of reading, the Russians are the best in reading in the whole world. And they themselves were doubting our own students. Today, when we went with the Premier at the beginning of this year, they said, Free State, bring more students, bring more students.
Wow.
So it's giving me feedback. It's giving me feedback that we are not only producing quantity, we are producing quality. And then if you look at the province of the Free State, 2009, our pass rate were in the 60s. Last year, we were the first province to achieve more than 90%. And not only 90%, 93.2%.
To be precise. Thank you so much, MEC. Meneer Kronier, MEC het nou klaar voor u voorgesteld. So, if you were to compare the education in Russia, and what was the experience for you getting, to interact with your counterparts there?
The education in Russia the schooling system and the education system is a bit different in South Africa, but it's very functional, and it's it's a good system to further yourself in your studies, because they have a very high experience rate, all of the professors, all of the lecturers. Compared to South Africa, I would say there are some universities in South Africa that's at this standard, but not all of the universities is as high as the universities that we are studying at.
How were you able to be top achiever, though, in veterinarian studies in Russia?
Hard work every day, study all of your material, good relationships with your lecturers, and just every day you should concentrate on all your work.
And Simtembile, your story as a top achiever out of 177 students studying in Turkey, had you ever been abroad before this particular program?
No, I have never been abroad. This was my first time. I have never been abroad before. This was my first time. Yes.
And tell us about your experience in are you generally an A student? Are you a genius? Are you one of those that are bordering on insanity because you're so smart?
No, I don't consider myself as a genius. I'm just a hard worker. So it started from high school. I've been working hard. I'm trying to find ways to be able to change my life and my family's lives. So that's what motivates me to work hard. And in Turkey, I'm just trying to do the same thing, trying to get better grades through hard working.
Thank you for that. Mr. Mbongo, I can't even pronounce what your particular field of study is in mining. If you were just to explain it in layman's terms, what do you do in Germany?
So in Germany, we study sustainable mining and remediation management. So basically what it does, we reclimate the abandoned mines, and then also deal with water treatment. So basically there's 3 of us there, and then recently there were another 12 which were brought by the Free State government. So we're actually 15 now, and then they're studying the same courses. And then the courses that we're doing there, they're going to contribute in a way that in Free State we have a lot of abandoned mines. So our plan is to come back home and then apply whatever that we have learned there so that we can better our lives. And then the fact that in Germany, most of the courses are practical. It's not only theory, but then you also do practical stuff. Like the MEC has said, it's the only university which has its own mine. So therefore, when you have to do something, you're going underground, then you're doing it practically, which is one of the advantages that we have.
Yeah. Do you have a social life, though? Because your course sounds very intense and technical.
Yes, you have to balance the two, I guess. So social life, yes.
Yeah.
And then now that there's a lot of South Africans, it becomes a bit easier. But then before it was only the 3 of us, and then it was a mission not speaking German, and most of them don't speak English that well. Only the professors, though.
Yeah. No wonder. For Mr. Kibiti, your story, top medical student in Cuba.
Yes, I'm one of the best students in Cuba who are currently doing very well. And firstly, I would like to thank the opportunity the Free State government is giving to us, because if it wasn't about the Free State, we should have at least still be in South Africa doing nothing. And I would like to acknowledge the good work that the Free State government is doing for us. And I would like to inform everyone that we, the Free State students, we're doing very well in Cuba, not only academically, but again, in sports, in politics, we're still the best. We're flying the Free State flag very, very high.
Wow, that's wonderful. Thank you. Mr. Premier, the Integrated Delivery Program and Operation Hlasela, and some of the challenges as well, in that when these young people now return, do we have the capacity to place them? Do they have opportunities in that regard?
Well, we create an environment for them to fly. It's not that we are going to absorb all of them. The market is there, South Africa is there. They're going to come back, and remember, Free State, we are part of South Africa. And these students are master students in Germany. You have a lot of those who are doing medicine, both in South Africa and outside the country. Black and white. I'm sure we have more than 300 local students doing medicine, and we're focusing on the rare skills. Imagine with 198 students in Cuba, 123 of them finishing next year, July, and coming back home. And if you count the number of towns in the Free State, you can be able to spread, per every town, you can be able to spread a doctor to our areas and communities. When you integrate the other 300 medical students who are in South Africa, and you spread them across the Free State, as well as the engineers, the veterinary scientists, I think the miners, on their own, those IT students are actually working for Vodacom. They are working for various companies in the Free State. Some of them are working for government. We'll be employing unemployed graduates by the 15th of December. So on their own, others are involved in business. Others in China, they are doing airspace, aerospace, narcotics, and I'm sure they are doing very, very rare skills. And Free State and South Africa will definitely fly. The economy will grow because this investment, it's a future investment. And I can also assure you, even the policemen and women in the province are studying. They are graduates, they are studying with UNISA, they are not just doing anything. If you look at our offices, our PAs, and they are studying. We are encouraging them because investing in education is the only future.
Absolutely. And MEC, in terms of the exit plan, or especially when the students return, talk us through some of the processes that they would have to go through, in terms of qualifying as a medical doctor.
Well, maybe let's start by first recognizing the people who have actually contributed that they must be here. The teachers in our schools. And I just want to say to you that South Africa must know that these young men sitting in front of you are not coming from private schools. They come from ordinary schools, government schools, and township schools. Bomamelo, Kroonstad High, Dr. Kengo. These teachers who are sitting there watching this program must actually pat themselves on the back and say, we have made it. Because in most cases, people don't recognize the work that is being done by teachers. People, when they talk about schools, they only talk about the most expensive schools in South Africa. You must know that there's talent in each and every school, and this is what we see now. But in terms of linking up with what the Premier was saying, in terms of the exit strategy, what has been fascinating me in particular has been that there's quite a number of companies, for example, in Turkey, that have now invested in South Africa, who are now very eager to actually absorb all the students who are in Turkey, right? But the students who are veterinary services, for an example, all those would be, we've got a huge demand in South Africa, for example, and our province in terms of veterinary services and medicine. If you take a student like Mr. Mbongo there on mining, he was actually doing his practicals at Mintech, a world research institution in South Africa. Already they say, please, when you complete, come back to us. So in fact, we are doing what, I don't know whether now you have read the concept is still not there. I don't think it's still there. But what is used to be called Asian tigers. How the Asian tigers in Cuba, China, Singapore, and all those guys have turned their economies around. One of their strategies was to send their students all over the world. Because remember, information and education is universal. So when they came back, they transformed their own country. And we believe that these young people will go there, they will learn the culture, they will know the sciences, they will learn the language of the people of the countries where they are in. But when they come back, they will then help us to see those advantages that we did not see in South Africa. So the students who are international and local must work together so that now we can be able to share experiences and take South Africa and move it forward.
Yeah. Simtembile, was it a culture shock for you to be out of the country? Perhaps we look at the glory before the story, not understanding the challenges, the need to adapt and chase after your dreams.
Yes, I think it was, because when you get to Turkey, you find that they have different cultures altogether. They live differently, and they have values that are different from mine. But I think I managed to quickly adapt. Yes.
And I know you had to travel far for you guys to be here, but Mr. Cornier, as this veterinarian type student, how long is your studies there, and when do you then come back and apply what you've learned?
The veterinary course is 5 years, and then I'll finish in 2021, June, and then I'll be coming back to South Africa to work in Kroonstad at the government's center.
And Mr. Bongo, give us a sense of, I know you can't quantify it in monetary terms, but if you were to give us a description of how your life has transformed and what you intend to do, when you come back after your completion.
I can actually say my life has changed a lot, because after I did my honors at the University of the Free State, I didn't know what to do after that, because I couldn't get a job, and then I applied for this program. Then now here I am, I'm in Germany, and then doing good. And then my plan is to come to South Africa. My plan is to come back home. As much as there are good opportunities out there for geology and such, but coming back to South Africa and then coming back to the Free State, because I know our province needs the type of skills that I have. Like I said before, we have a lot of abundant mines. So Free State is my future.
And we're speaking to a population that is largely youth-based, that may fall through the cracks, the missing middle, etc. How do you motivate other young people that may feel that the environment is so, they have adversities that they cannot overcome, the challenges, etc.? Mr. Kibiti.
Okay, thank you for the opportunity. In that sense, I would like to motivate everyone who's out there that they must never allow their family backgrounds to stop them from achieving what they want to do. For example, I come from a disadvantaged family. Since from grade 1 till now, my parents never paid a cent for my education. Everything was being paid for. What I have to do is just to work very, very hard, because they always say that education is the key, and again, it's a weapon that can destroy poverty. So everyone who's sitting out there, they must just believe in themselves and have self-motivation, because if you don't have self-motivation, even if I can come and motivate you, it will be difficult for you to be on the same line as I am. So for everyone who's out there, just pick up your socks and focus on the right path.
Dr. Kibiti, ladies and gentlemen, I couldn't have said it better myself. Thank you so much for engaging us. We will take a short break, but do stay with ANN7. We'll be back and taking questions from the floor. I'll encourage all our guests to please jot those down, but do stay with us. We're back after this.